According to Australian Aboriginal mythology, the sun was made by throwing an emu egg into the sky. Yes, an emu egg, the fast-running, flightless bird and cousin to the ostrich. Now you ask, what does that have to do with the Pacific West Coast? Well, the meat of the emu is considered a delicacy, and we found some farm-bred emu right here on Vancouver Island. Today, a pan-seared emu recipe so tasty, like a boomerang, they'll be coming back for more. I'm Garret Schack, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Welcome back. Today, it's all about the emu. First thing we want to get started with is a little bit of our prep job before we get into the emu. We have some lovely prosciutto here, nice and thinly sliced. Stop by your butcher and ask him to do this part for you. Way easier than trying to do it by hand. You'll see this stuff is nice and lean, but we still have a little bit of fat on the top. Now, we're going to lay this down on a sheet of parchment. And we're going to make it nice and crispy by throwing it in a relatively slow oven, about 300 degrees. But the trick here is to actually put another layer of parchment on top and keep that all nice and flat with the second sheet pan. Again, into the oven. There we go. That should crisp up in about 7 to 10 minutes, but keep a close eye on it. If the fire alarms start going off, run to the oven. Now, I've got some wonderful farm fresh green beans right here and some Romano beans. To get this started, you never really want to throw just raw beans into a salad. So we're going to do what's called blanching. Blanching simply refers to firing these beans into a pot of boiling water and then quickly cooling them off in an ice bath. So here we go. In our Pedernal pan over here, we've got it nicely boiling. And in they go. Perfect. This recipe should make enough for about 3 or 4 people. It's literally going to take maybe 3 minutes to blanch these guys. Okay. And in the meantime, let's start some of the prep for this salad. We've got a little bit of garlic here. Again, just nice thin slices. And instead of leaving it whole this time, we're going to turn it around and chop them up even finer. Because we're not cooking this, we don't want it to be too big a chunk in there. Keep the vampires away, you know? There we go. Okay. There we are. Straight into our bowl with the Romano beans. Now these beans have been pre-cooked and we've cooled them off and rinsed them. Okay. Next up, some shallots. Shallots have a slightly sweeter flavor than their big brothers, the regular old onion. And they're actually a member of the garlic family. But again, we want a nice thin slice. And we'll get that, boom, straight into the salad. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Here we go. Okay. Get that guy out of there. Okay, you can see our beans are boiling quite rapidly. We definitely don't want to overcook these guys. You can see the color on them has actually brightened up. They've started to get a really bright green color. Next step in here, we're going to add a little oil, just a touch. Some fresh cracked pepper, some honey. There we go, not too much. This isn't about the sweetness here. We just don't want to overpower it with the vinegar. And then some of your favorite vinegar. In this case, I'm using a really nice apple cider vinegar. That's my favorite anyway. There we go. Not too much. The typical ratio, you notice I'm not making one ahead of time, but the typical ratio is 3 to 1. 3 parts oil, 1 part vinegar. If you want a little more vinegar like I do, add just a touch more. Okay, just chop a couple of these gorgeous heirloom cherry tomatoes in half. And by the time we're done that, we'll be ready to fire those beans into an ice bath. Okay, pull this over. Some nice icy cold water here. Turn off our stove. And have a look at these beans. Now look at them. See how they're starting to get flexible? And they're not snapping right away? That's perfect. And look how bright green they are. Okay, straight over into our ice bath. Don't overcrowd your ice bath. There's no point in putting it in cold water and then heating that up right away. A little bit at a time. There we go. Making sure that they get all encompassed by that cold water. There we go. Now this is going to immediately set that green color and stop the cooking so we keep a bit of crunch in there. They are perfect. Okay. Now let's just finish off this salad and we can get it set aside and move into what you're all waiting to see. Cut these in just bite-sized pieces. You can almost still hear that crunching of the knife as it goes through. There we are. Last few. Get all that water off. We don't want to water down our salad, do we? And again, into some nice bite-sized pieces. There we are. Okay, fantastic. A couple of nice tosses. Look at the colors in there. And it smells great, that vinegar. You can really start to smell the vinegar. Nice and simple, but delicious. Okay, once it's tossed, we're gonna add a little bit of salt. There we go. And then set this aside. Now, let's grab the emu. Look at that. Emu is such a cool bird. This is called a fan fillet. So it's a piece just off near the wing. Their legs are so long, allows it to take a 9-foot stride. How cool is that? Let's grab a little cutting board here, or a big cutting board, whichever you have. And we're just gonna clean this up a little bit. You can see there's a few little specks of some silver skin that we wanna get out of there. All right. Now, emu's super high in iron, and now just by looking at it, you can tell, can't you? Look at how deep the deep red that color is. Some people say it has a similar flavor to really lean bison. Okay. For today's purposes, we're gonna cut this guy just about in half. There we are. Look at that color, it's gorgeous and super lean. This stuff is low in cholesterol and high in flavor. There we are. Get a pan on the stove here. Get it up to a nice high heat, because what we want to do is once we have this seasoned, we're going to get a nice char on it. I see there's another little bit there. Perfect. A little salt. There we are. Of course, our secret ingredient, the fresh cracked pepper. Never go wrong with that. There we go. Now, the emu is the true nose-to-tail bird. It's revered for its oil, its meat, and also its leather. They say you can make up to 13 pairs of shoes with one emu. How cool is that? Now, got a nice hot pan over here. Get the oil in there. And again, nicely seasoned. The trick to emu is not to overcook it. Again, not too much fat in here, so we want it to be rare to medium rare. Lay this down in the pan. Hear that sizzle. That is beauty. We're gonna create an awesome crust on here. Don't rush this part. We wanna make sure we develop that crust and really get the flavors going in there. Emu is an amazing bird. At a fast trot, it can cover great distances, sprinting at like 50 kilometers an hour. Unbelievable. Okay, let's have a look at this. As we flip this over, look at that crust. Beautiful. Now we want to make sure we get all sides. At this point, we're going to finish searing and give it a quick blast in the oven. When we come back, we have a special guest in store for you. Hi, and welcome back to Cookin' on the Coast. I'm here on location at the Hungry Rooster food truck with Paulina. Paulina,
Hello.
Pierogies.
Yes.
What would you say your signature dish is here at the Hungry Rooster?
Well, we served all homemade pierogies made by my mom with love.
Oh, wow.
And we do fusion on them. So we do have them serve them traditional style with Polish bacon and onions and slaw. But we also do them Mexican style and curry style and Thai style. And today I think we're going to introduce you to Mexicanca, which is a Mexican style pierogies.
Mexicanca, I like it.
That's right.
Do you mind if I come up and see how all the magic happens?
Come on in.
Great, thanks. There's that sizzle. That's what we're looking for,
There
that
it
sizzle,
is.
hey?
Yeah.
So deep frying pierogies.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I know. Why? Let's do something different here today. That sounds fantastic. So these are Mom's handmade pierogies.
They are homemade mom's pierogies. Recipes come all the way from Poland, from my grandma, and my grandgrandma made them. I grew up in Poland. I know they're real and they're delicious.
Awesome. So lots of heritage in these pierogies.
Lots of
now,
heritage.
are they looking at you with a sad face when they see you deep frying them?
My mom thought I was crazy when I told her that we're gonna put all these crazy toppings on them, and she said, well, it probably never worked, but it did work, and it's working, and Victoria loves it.
And the word on the street is that they're pretty tasty when you,
They
add
are
that fusion to them, right?
Yes, why not?
Today we're doing the Mexicanca,
That's right.
but there's lots of different ones, right? You have
Yeah, we have a pierogi, which has got a really nice homemade spicy peanut sauce and cilantro, lime, and all sorts of
Southeast
yummies.
Asian flair,
Yes.
eh? Yeah, very nice.
And then we do a curry, koranka, which has got Indian butter curry.
Nice.
It's got nice, rich, thick flavors from India.
Nice.
And then we do the Polish style, of course, which is
You have
called
to have the
polka.
we got to keep Mom happy, right?
We gotta keep everybody else happy too. It's bacon and onions and sour cream and of course the slaw on the side.
Nice.
Every dish comes
And
with it.
today we're doing the Mexicanca, right?
Today we're doing Mexicanca, yes.
Awesome. So
It's one of our most popular dishes. So the pierogies are nice and crispy. So take them out.
oh yeah, they go nice and
They're-
golden brown. They start to puff a little bit.
Yeah, they're soft on the inside and crispy on the outside.
Oh, that sounds
So,
delicious.
Yeah. We're gonna put them right here on a plate to finish them off on our table.
All right. So now this is sort of where you go to the assembly line here, huh?
This is where it all happens. Once the pierogies are sauteed or deep fried, we put them right here on a plate and we finish them off with our delicious toppings. So we used aged cheddar to start, and once the cheddar hits the pierogies, it slightly melts.
Starts to melt right away.
That's
eh?
right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Right. So
nice
it's
hot
a really
pierogies.
nice, it gives that extra little cheese flavor to it.
It gets all
And
gooey
then,
and sticky, hey?
Right.
Very
and then
nice.
we put our own homemade aioli on it. So we
Aioli.
just-
What, can you explain aioli to me?
Basically, that's mayo and chipotle and lime sauce.
Oh,
so
nice.
it gives that nice Mexican flavor.
Yeah, it gives it the
It's
Mexican flavor. That's awesome.
spicy. Then we put a little bit of course, sour
Sour cream.
cream and our truck-made salsa, which
So
are
do you
delicious.
do that prep right here on the truck?
Everything is made on a truck except the pierogies.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then we're gonna take a little bit of our slaw, and I do a really delicious rooster dressing. It's an Asian influence, mayo, sesame, garlic, and lots of other secrets dressing.
Yes, there's that secret theme again. Hey, these food trucks seem to have that secret.
I can't give you all the secrets. And we finish it up with a piece of lime and sprinkle it with French cilantro.
Some nice fresh cilantro. Look at the colors on that plate. That looks absolutely
here's
fantastic.
our Mexicanca.
So nice. Do you mind if I just dig in there with my hands and have a bite? Or?
I would say take a fork, my friend.
Well, okay, we'll keep it couth here. There are ladies present, right? I'm just going to go right for a big bite here. Try and get some of that salsa as well. There we go. Look at that. So good. Crispy, but soft and gooey on the inside. That aioli is fantastic. Paulina, thank you so much for letting me come onto your card and sharing some of your secrets with me.
Thank you.
Thank your mom for me too, because those pierogies are fantastic.
I will. Thank you.
And have another bite here. So good.
Yum.
We'll be back in the kitchen right after the break on Cooking on the Coast.
Good. Approved.
So good. It really is. I love pierogies. And now we're back with our emu recipe. Let's go have a look at it in the oven. Should be ready to go. Oh yeah, there it is. Emu is thought to be an Portuguese word derived from ema, which is pretty cool. I think there's a heavy Portuguese contingency in Australia. So now we've got this. We're going to take it out of the pan and just let it rest. It's really important when you're working with red meat to let it rest so the juices can soak back in. We'll turn on our stove because our recipe isn't quite done yet. We're going to use this pan that has these lovely emu drippings in it to saute some lovely chanterelle mushrooms. We'll start some shallots. There we are. Here it's starting to sizzle away already. There we go. And look at these. These are gorgeous, found all over our island. Our west coast climate is perfect for the chanterelle mushroom. There's that sound we're looking to hear. Give them just a quick stir around. And then we'll get those chanterelles right in there. Beautiful. Awesome. Now we want to finish up our bean salad. We've got a little bit of fresh parsley here. Coarsely chop that. This again will add a nice freshness to that salad. You know, they used to serve parsley as a breath freshener after each meal. That's why you found it back in the day on the side of every plate. Restaurants, they're always thinking of their guests. There we go. Nice toss. Let's give that a little taste. Get a green bean, a Romano bean in there. Oh, perfect. Just gonna add a little pepper, but it doesn't need any more salt. With that, like that, and a couple of tosses, and we'll get this right into our plate here. Lots of vibrant colors, lots of fresh flavors. And it goes. Make sure to get some of that dressing in there. All right, here we are. Set that aside, have a look at our mushrooms. They're coming along really nicely. Just gonna give it a touch of wine. I got some wine right here. Wine's gonna help deglaze the pan. The glazing, whew, there we go. There we are. The glazing helps pick up all those kind of caramelized particles that are on the bottom of this saute pan. Okay, last we wanna finish this with just a little pinch of butter. I know all those heart smart people are thinking about it, but we're saving because we're in the emu, right? We'll move our emu over and check this out. Some lovely slices here. Let's see how this looks. Look at that, perfectly cooked. Almost like I know what I'm doing here. And nothing from the peanut gallery out there either. All right. Again, you don't want to overcook emu. Look at the lovely color in that. We'll lay this down on our salad. We want to show off to our guests a little bit that we actually know how to cook steak. There we go. A little salt. And then we'll finish with a few of these chanterelle mushrooms here. Just right on top. Gorgeous. Look at that. All those bright colors, the nice perfectly cooked emu that has a wonderful crust around the outside. Last but not least, a little bit of crunch. Remember back in the day when we put these in the oven? Look how beautiful and crispy they are now. Watch this. Oh, you can just hear it crunching. Perfect. Just break it up, set it aside. Not only does this add a little bit of salt to this dish, but it also adds some crunch. And there we have it. Another Cookin' on the Coast recipe. Pan-seared, island-raised emu, bean salad, and some lovely sauteed chanterelles. Fantastic. And now my favorite part of the show, the beverage pairing. I'm here with brewmaster Dean McLeod from Lighthouse Brewing Company. Dean, how are you today?
I'm
Thanks
very
for coming
well.
in.
Thanks for bringing me in.
Brought a fabulous beer here to pair with some emu.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is Siren Red Ale. It's our most recent addition to our regular lineup, and it should work really well with this dish.
Very cool. Now, I understand this beer did really well internationally.
Yeah, we recently entered it in an international competition, and it won Champion Dark Ale in the world.
Wow, in the world. Our local brewers making an impact on the world. So I have to say, looking at this beer here, That's some pretty awesome artwork.
Yeah,
I'm getting thirsty just looking at
Yeah,
it.
it's fantastic. So the artwork itself was produced by local artist Eric Van Cobra at Wolf Sheep Art House, and yeah, it's stunning, isn't it? Let's rip into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not wait any longer. Let's see how this works out with this emu here.
So the beer itself, it's got some nice caramel and toffee
that
flavours, some nice dark fruit character, as well as some nice citrusy hops. So
Very nice. Now,
pair really nicely.
we're drinking out of wine glasses here. I'm not going to get a ripping for this later, am I?
No, absolutely not. I drink from wine glasses at home. I think it's a really good way to drink beer for the same reason why you drink wine. You get that aroma, and you know, you get to look at it as well. You know, visually it looks fantastic in a wine glass.
Oh, wow. It's hoppy off the nose, but it's subtle. You've balanced it out really well.
Yeah, nice malty characters as well, which should really, you know, complement the sear that you've got on the
Very
emu there.
nice. Well, let's dig in here,
Yeah, for
Dean.
sure.
Don't let me eat alone, hey?
This looks great.
So really, again, the key here, don't overcook your emu. Okay?
Oh wow, that is delicious. That is so good.
Amazing. I think you've picked out the perfect pairing here for this.
Yeah, cheers. Yum, that's great.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, cooking on the coast just got a little hoppier. Thanks very much, Dean.
Thank you.
See you next time. Have a look in this pan right here. We've got the beginning of a really cool thing for how you would start to make brittles and candies. So basically all this is sugar and water that's dissolved. And the trick here is once it's dissolved is not to swirl your pan around too much until it's all started to change color. What happens is you start building crystals around the outside and it'll crystallize and seize up on you. And that's the worst thing that can happen in candy cooking. So at that point, you let it sit and you watch for that color to change. You'll really start to see it start to go a little bit golden, and if you leave it too long, it'll go black and burnt, and nobody likes burnt candy.